What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 76. And we start today's episode off with RB Leipzig Champions League first knockout round, first leg away in Germany, coming on the back of a big win over Norwich in the last game in last episode. And of course after transfer deadline day, the signings of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and St Maximin still yet to make their debuts as well. Right now with Arsenal, after losing the Carabao Cup semi-finals to Manchester City and failing to retain that trophy, after losing the chance at the invincible season possibility in the Premier League after the defeat to Aston Villa back in December. As I said very recently, and I've mentioned a few times now, when these things happen, when you face adversity, when you face loss and failure, what do? You need to rebound, you need to recover, and you need to reassess your goals. So we can't have an invincible season, so we can't win the quadruple, but what we can do is win the treble. Top of the Premier League, into the FA Cup last 16, and now Champions League last 16 as well. But RB Leipzig away from home, this was going to be tough. Maybe not as much of a challenge as Real Madrid, the Galacticos last year, but a tough challenge regards, especially with this man leading their line. Anthony Martial, the former Manchester United and Monaco forward, gives the host the lead. He's the top scorer in the Champions League with what was his 8th goal there, giving the host the early advantage. And I was thinking, okay, alright, don't sulk. Rebound, recover, reassessed, and right from kickoff. Oh yeah, we've seen a few kickoff goals this season, and there's another one added to the list. Reiss Nelson going on a great solo run down the left, stepping in to shoot on his right and bending in at equalising goal, and a crucial away goal in Germany as well. Nelson with the finish, giving us the leveller there in what was a very action-packed opening half an hour. Soon after, Jan Oblak called into action to make a great save as it was still 1-1, and then just a few minutes after that, Bukayo Saka stepping in from the left-hand side. Excellent stop by Alessio Kragner though, as both goalkeepers pulled off fine saves, and it was still 1-1. Right before the break, another chance for Leipzig, and I was really struggling to contain their attacking prowess. So many great players on the offensive end. Danny Olmo, the latest to try his luck, but once again, there is Jan Oblak with the save. And in the end, we talked about it when we signed him from Atletico Madrid in the summer. Bernd Leno did nothing wrong last season. He won the Golden Glove, but there's a big difference between an 85 rated goalkeeper and a 94 rated goalkeeper. In the end, the reason why we drew the game and didn't lose it in Germany, well, Reiss Nelson with the leveller, but also Jan Oblak with a string of fine saves in the game ensured it finished 1-1 and we wouldn't lose the first leg in Germany. Oblak this season has been absolutely superb since coming in from Atletico. They spent 95 million on him. He is in his early 30s, but again, this dude is the highest rated goalkeeper in the game, and I mentioned before, sometimes you need an elite shot stopper behind the sticks, because when your defense is breached, you need someone you got faith in to make save after save, just like Oblak did in that game there. So 1-1, heading back to the Emirates. We are in the driving seat due to the away goal ruling. Leipzig will need to score in North London. If they don't do that, then we'll be going through. But can Oblak repeat that sort of performance again at the Emirates Stadium? If he can, I'll feel confident we'll be progressing through to the quarterfinals. But we know, based on how great their attacking pieces are, the fact that Martial's the top scorer in Europe, it's going to be very tough indeed if we're to make it through to the quarterfinals. Tie hangs in the balance for now. Still for the second game of 4 in today's episode, Newcastle United here away at St James's Park, taking on the Magpies right now in the bottom half of the table. We scored 2 very early goals. First Harvey Barnes and Luis Suarez giving us the early 2-goal advantage, but the hosts will get back in the game for a free kick headed in from close range as they got back in the game right before the break. And in the second half, pushed and pressed and looked to get ourselves back in front. But there was some really committed defending from the Magpies here. That header off the bar and then Gillespie colliding with his teammate, somehow blocking the follow-up shot on the line. And as I've mentioned recently, we've been slipping up quite a bit in recent Premier League games. And with 20 minutes to go, this was so frustrating. We know rebound goals are so common in FIFA nowadays. There's one there going against us as the Magpies battle back from 2 goals down to make it 2-2. And I was thinking, come on, since December, we have been slipping up in over half our games in the Premier League. And whilst we still might have that double-digit lead at the top of the table right now, that's going to go very quickly unless we can get a consistent run of form going and string some wins together. Once again, just like in Germany, Reiss Nelson fires in a goal when stepping in from the left to surely give us the game winner with 7 minutes on the clock to make it 3-2 in a really topsy-turvy game in the northeast. With a minute and a half of normal time to go, the Magpies retain possession so well, look for an opening as Vilka turns his man, rolls through Lincoln, who the former Canary in the game, plays it through to Hernandez, and Hernandez bends it past Oblak and makes it 3-3. And late goals in this year's FIFA, I've talked about them so much, but this is why you should never give up when you're chasing a leveler or a winner, why you also can't afford to switch off at the death. Late goals are just ludicrous in this year's FIFA. The Magpies tie it once again. They battle back on 2 separate occasions, first from 2 goals down and then 1 down in the final few minutes to grab a point. 3-3 the final score. A big slip up in the northeast as we continue to have very jittery form in the second half of the season. So heading into the third game here, back in North London, taking on West Ham in a London derby here. Bernd Leno returning since his move to the Hammers in the January transfer window. You know he was going to be motivated to shut us out in this game, keep a clean sheet and prevent us from getting the 3 points. You know, obviously last season, you know, won the Golden Glove for us. Again, I said he did nothing wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong. But again, we moved on to Oblak. We don't regret it, but heading into the game, Leno made a great save early on Reece Nelson, former teammate, and I was thinking, God, he's going to turn into a monster today. I just know it. And a few minutes later, big news here. Ben White going up for an aerial duel, hitting the deck hard, staying down and forced off on the stretcher. So still 0-0 in the game. As White was forced off, and just past the hour mark here, a great chance for the Hammers to win the game and shock us as well. Gelson Martins firing just off target in what was eventually a 0-0 draw. So 3 draws in a row in all competitions. Again, the gap is still double digits. 11 clear of the Red Devils, 12 clear of Spurs, and also 13 clear of Chelsea and Liverpool as well. So we still have the double digit gap, but all of those teams, bar the last one I mentioned there, have games in hand. So if the Red Devils win theirs, they'll cut the gap to 8 as we approach the business end of the season. I talked about it, we still got that big gap, we can't afford to be complacent, letting teams back into the title race as we come into the closing stages of the campaign. As March arrives, Ben White's dislocated his shoulder, he's down for 2 months, won't see him again until the final month of football in May, or so we'll think. It's starting to get a little bit nervy for Arsenal now, because whilst we're dreaming of the treble, I'm starting to wonder whether we can pull it off. Last year we won the domestic cup double, that was fantastic. We won't be able to do that this year after losing in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, but there's still a chance at a domestic double regardless, the Premier League and the FA Cup. There's still a chance of the treble, the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League, and there's still a chance of a league and European double, and there's also a chance of a cup and European double as well. So there's still things we can do. But I have to say, I don't know whether it's just me, but I feel like Ultimate has definitely had an increase. Now, not to break away from the immersion here, as I mentioned before, I do adjust the sliders on a game-by-game basis to make the gameplay more realistic and more challenging as well. And as we're in poor form right now, I'm sure you probably notice it in the gameplay as well, I'm starting to make things a little bit more difficult for me, because we are struggling for form right now. Therefore, we're supposed to have a little bit more of a challenge, as opposed to one with high flying and in great form. But even so, I just feel Ultimate in general has become a little bit more difficult since the recent patch. Maybe it's just me, I'm not entirely sure. But for the 4th and final game of today's episode anyway, first one of March, first of 2 against Crystal Palace to start the month off. This one in the Cup, the second one coming in the league, and heading into this one here, the FA Cup last 16, won it last season. We won't retain our Carabao Cup, but we can retain this one. So starting off the game on the front foot, I thought, right, I'm not having 4 straight draws in a row, and of course it's the last 16 now. This game will go to penalties and extra time anyway. So heading into the game, Reece Nelson gave us the early lead, then Smith Rowe made it 2-0 after a lovely little team build up, and then 10 minutes after the restart, a chance to make it 3. DCL getting his first start for the club in this game. He was sort of like support striker in this game and not spearheading the attacks, just setting boys up. Almost got the assist for Josh De Silva there as it was still 2-0, and again 18 minutes to go, DCL winning the ball back. And you know, I brought Calvert-Lewin in to be the replacement for Kasper Dolberg in terms of goals, but in this game he turned the provider, set up Mikel Merino, who came off the bench to make it 3. And I love this as well. When we brought him in, I discussed the solid player trait he has as well. When Calvert-Lewin's worth to this team won't just be as a goal scorer, but also a pressing forward as well. In this game, he definitely was looking to be the facilitator as opposed to the goal scorer. And with 10 minutes to go, the points in the bag. Once again, we win it back courtesy from Calvert-Lewin pressure. Great ball by Mikel Merino to find Smith Rowe. And I'll be honest here, I got very lucky indeed. Rounded the goalkeeper, took it a bit too far wide. Nathaniel Klein comes back to close the gap, which he does very well. But Smith Rowe, what a finish after stepping in from the left. 4-0 Arsenal, we bagged the brace. Nelson got one and Marina got one as well, but my man in the match in that game making his debut, Calvert-Lewin, he was so persistent up top when out of possession. I loved it. So 4-0 the final score, a big win there. We are through to the FA Cup quarter-final. You saw the teams we could possibly get. The biggest team still left alongside us is Liverpool, last year's champions in the Premier League. As you see the draw for the quarter-final, Arsenal have got in the last 8 of the FA Cup Watford, the Hornets at North London at the Emirates Stadium, Newcastle vs Brighton, the Reds have got Southampton, and Doncaster Rovers going to the FA Cup quarter-finals. They'll be taking on Leicester City. So yes, the invincible season's gone, the quad dreams have gone, we have been jittering lately, but the treble dreams are still alive. But that was this episode of the Realistic CM, guys, so a big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you have enjoyed today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic CM as we come towards the business end of the season, still dreaming of that treble very soon.